Hi, everyone, and welcome to this month's monthly focus for Homeschool Strong. It is Clean Strong, and I can't believe I'm doing this. As a matter of fact, I'm not telling my husband what this month's monthly focus is all about, because if he knew that I was teaching a course or motivating women on house cleaning, he would probably point, yell, "Faker," and take away my internet access. I'm going to start this off by being completely honest with you guys. I do daily habits and housekeeping. I do laundry and meal prep. I do purging, organizing, and projects like cleaning the outside windows when they need to be done. But I do not do regular house cleaning. The housekeeper comes every 2 weeks and does that. Now, I don't tell you this to brag or to make you feel bad. I tell you this for a very important reason. It took me years to get to this point. Years of trying systems and failing. Actually, most of the ones we talk about today are systems that I've tried. Years of trying to convince my husband that this was a good use of our money. And this wasn't an easy task, but now he's a convert. And years of trying to make enough money from my part-time job that I didn't feel guilty about using it for this instead of putting it in the college fund. And that one still rears its ugly head some days. As a matter of fact, as I've been working on the material for this course, I keep thinking, the kids and I could just really do this and save ourselves that money each month. But then I remember how much I really like my housekeeper. But now I have this system I like, and I intend to keep it as long as I can. And if you desire a housekeeper, and not everybody does, if you can manage to get your husband on board, I encourage you to do it. While it's not a perfect system and it comes with its own headaches, it does generally work to have a system like that one. Okay, so that's the end of my disclosure, because for many of you, that isn't an option, or it isn't an option right now. So let's get on with making a plan that is going to work for you. But I just wanted you to know that before we got started. Okay, now the bad news. I bet that you are very much like me. You pretty much know what should be done. And you have probably tried every stinking system in the books and on the internet. You don't need me to tell you how to clean or what to do. I also bet that you are here looking for that one tip, one system, one thing that is going to magically make all of this easy. You're wanting the clouds to part, the angels to sing, and in 30 days you want to have a house that magically cleans itself. Well, it ain't happening. I don't have a magic bullet, and I am sorry. Basically, I'm here to tell you that your problem is not a lack of a good system or even a lack of time. It's actually a lack of priority and effort. If you want a cleaner house, you have to commit to a workable system and then do it whenever it needs to be done. Even if that means getting up before other people, even if that means staying up later than anyone else, even if it means skipping reruns of Friends or When Calls the Heart in the evening so you can clean. And unless you can commit to doing that, then you are going to fail at having a clean house. Again. Now, if I don't want dirty dishes in the sink when I wake up in the morning, then I am the one responsible for staying late in the kitchen and making sure that the dishwasher gets unloaded and the dirty ones get put in. I'm responsible even if it means I'm having a kid do it. I still have to make sure it gets done. Same with a clean floor or a mold-free shower. And I tell you, the 2-year-old in me thinks that stinks and would much rather be playing. Or my inner lawyer makes arguments that I can skip today's chores because I'm tired and I deserve a break. And stuff doesn't get done. So I beat myself up again. But I have only me to blame. Is any of this sounding familiar to you guys? Okay, so I don't have good news, but this is what I do have. Here's the deal. I don't have the easy answer, but what I do have for you this month is a 4-step process and some accountability. First of all, step 1, we are going to make a general cleaning plan. That's the first thing we're going to do. Step 2, we're going to talk about some daily routines. Step 3, we're going to hire help. And yes, hire is in quotation marks for a reason. And finally, we're going to talk about the monthly project, some of those bigger projects that we need to be working on. We're going to talk about each one and spend some time focusing on these. Once you have committed to your plan, then you're going to get to check in about 3 times a week and tell us how your progress is going. We're going to have threads on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this month for housekeeping success and struggle check-ins. And then we're going to continue to have a weekly reporting check-in for your homeschool consistency. So that's not going away. The consistency's staying, just a weekly check-in. The Monday, Wednesday, Friday check-ins for this coming month are for your cleaning. All right, if you commit to making a plan and working on it, I can guarantee that you are going to have a cleaner house at the end of the month. But really, it's up to you. So let's get started. All right. Step 1 is to make a general cleaning plan. And you guys know I love planning, mostly because it's more fun than executing plans. But before you go any further, I want to be sure that you pause the video and make sure that you have printed the forms for this mini class from the class page. So if you don't have your forms printed, this is the place where you need them. So you might want to go get those. And you can just pause it and come right back. Okay, are you ready? Here is your reality check. So, here is the main question. Can you homeschool well and have a really clean house too? And the answer to this is, I think you can if all you ever do is homeschool and clean. If cleaning is your hobby, if you don't work inside or outside the home, if you don't volunteer, if you don't watch a lot of television or read a lot of books, then yeah, I think it's possible. But if your main vocation is homeschooling, and it is, that's why you're here, right? And you want a life, then you're probably going to have to be content with less than perfection in the housekeeping arena. So we're going to make that assumption. Now, we all have differing levels of perfection that we're after. Some of us are going to be content with, kind of a messier space. And that's okay. As long as your family's happy with that and you're happy with that, that's all that matters. Some of us want something that's a little bit closer to that really, really clean. You have to decide which one is important to you. And I'm going to give you options for, all along this spectrum today. So we're going to start, though, by start our planning by creating our housekeeping expectations and priorities. We're going to take some time, and this is a good time, maybe even spend a few minutes talking to your husband and write a few statements about what is important to you when it comes to housekeeping. Now, this is going to go in this upper section here, this expectation section. And notice that I give you a little bit of instructions. It says, be sure to only list 3 to 5. Now, that's really important because you cannot have this super long expectations list for your housekeeping if you're homeschooling. You just, it has to be kind of a smaller list. So I'm going to give you a few ideas here. Now, Dawn was pretty adamant that I only give you 3 ideas, but I wanted to give you more than 3. And since I'm in charge most of the time, I'm going to go ahead and give you more than 3, but you cannot put more than 5 on your list. All right, so some statements that you might include up here in your expectations section. You might say something like, it is important that our master bedroom remain clear of clutter so that it is a restful haven. This is actually one of mine. Another example is, it is important that our house be a place equipped to provide hospitality to others. That one doesn't make my list. I know I should be doing more hospitality, and there's kind of a desire there. I never think about doing it. So this one just doesn't make my list. I know for some of you, though, and I have some friends like this is very important, and it would definitely make that list. It is important that family members always have clean, wrinkle-free clothes. I put this one on here for Dawn because she actually irons her husband's work clothes. She's such a great wife. My husband's lucky if I shake it out when it comes out of the dryer. It is important that we wake each morning to a clean kitchen. For some of you guys, that's going to be a priority. It is important that I am not embarrassed when friends stop by. I think that's going to make the list for a lot of us. It is important that the floor is clean for babies and toddlers to play on. You know, I don't have babies and toddlers anymore. Even though I like a clean floor, that might not make my 3 to 5 on my list. So you have to ask yourself, what are the top 3 or 5 things that are really important to you? Because this is going to determine what you put in the next section, your non-negotiable weekly cleaning. So now you have your statements. It's time to create this little list. And this is like your minimum viable day for housekeeping. Based on those priorities, those expectations that you set above, if you're not able to do anything else this week, what 3 things must be done to keep your house humming along? Only pick 3. You know, so if you have a week where the world just seems to go off kilter, you get stressed and overwhelmed, everybody gets sick, something huge breaks, or, you know, we've had these recent hurricanes, maybe a natural disaster hits, then this is what you do, no matter what. These are the things that are non-negotiable. So what might this list look like? Well, based on some of the priorities that I told you earlier, some of the things on your non-negotiable list might be something like iron your husband's work clothes, clean the guest bathroom. Another thing is you can put daily tasks on here as well, like sweep the kitchen floor daily. So that's a non-negotiable thing for you. It's something you're going to do every single day. And if we need to, we can discuss more examples of what these would look like in the Facebook group. But these non-negotiable weekly cleaning items should reflect the expectations you wrote in the above section, and only choose 3. This is for the really bad week. This is for the week that you're recovering from the flu, or the week that everybody else in your house has the flu, or no telling what goes on, just the really bad weeks. That's what this is for. All right, so now you have a backup plan. The next step in making our master plan is to choose or make choose or make a housekeeping system. I have homeschooling on the brain. I never talk about housekeeping, only homeschooling. Okay. Chances are good that you have tried many different cleaning plans in the past in your efforts to find the magical system that will work for you. And I tell you, I've either read these or tried them myself. I've included in this PDF some of the ones that I think are good for you to peruse. And so my criteria in choosing these systems, because there's more out there, is the system cannot be complicated. Hello, Fly Lady emails. Oh my gosh, that's just email disaster right there waiting to happen. And they also can't be perfectionist oriented. Now, I ranked these for you in the order. The first one on the list is, oh my gosh, I'm a slob. I want to be better. What do I do? And that's the first housekeeping system on this list. As you work your way through the PDF and you get to the last housekeeping system on the list, that one is for the mamas in the group who are still trying to get it together, but they desire and are willing to put in the work to have a cleaner house. They have a, just a higher level of expectation for clean in their house. It's a spectrum, and you're going to fall somewhere along that spectrum. If it were a scale from 1 to 10, a slob comes clean is going to be for the people who are about wanting to, hit like a number 3 on there. I myself probably live around number 6 or number 7. And then the last little selection on here is a vlogger named Jen. And, she's going to be somebody who wants to go for an 8 or a 9 or even a 10 in their housekeeping. So you choose the system that's going to work for you. Or you might already have a system that you've been struggling with and using. So if you have a system that's not on this list, go ahead and use your own system. Or I'm going to give you some tools that you can use to make your own system, because there are a number of you out there who don't want to use anybody else's system. So take a look at the ones included or choose your favorite. But the most important thing is just to choose, because honestly, all of them will work if you work. So in terms of results, it really doesn't make a difference which one you choose. In terms of process, though, you might want to think about a few things. A couple of things you might want to consider. Are you the kind of person who likes doing a little each day so that you never have to spend an entire day cleaning? Or would you prefer to do things all at once and get it over with? So there are a couple of options in there that fit one or the other of those. No matter what you prefer, is your life so busy right now that there's no way you could fit in daily cleaning spurts? I really kind of feel this way myself, between us getting school done, me working on the business, and me running the kids around to activities. Most days I don't have time to spend 30 or 45 minutes cleaning. So if I were doing my own weekly cleaning, I would have to do it once a week, like on a Saturday morning. Is it easier for you to put off small tasks and talk yourself out of them? Would it be harder for you to talk yourself out of a bigger cleaning session once a week? So, if you're really, I'm kind of good at this. If you're really good at talking yourself out of things, it's probably a lot harder to talk yourself out of one weekly big cleaning session than it is to let yourself slide day after day after day on little ones. So know yourself as you choose a system. Okay, if none of these plans are giving you happy feelings, then you can use the forms that are in this packet, the ones that are available there on the site to download. To make your own. And I made them separate. I actually didn't make a packet because a lot of them are fillable on the computer. You can actually type into it. For those of you who are familiar with our Plan Your Year planning forms, you can actually type into these and print them. You're going to want to download them to your computer first, save a copy, and then, type in them. And then that way, as you go back and update your system and change things, you don't have to start from scratch each time. If you like pencil and paper, you can just print them out and write in them. Okay, so looping. Many of you are familiar with loop scheduling, and you can actually do that with your housekeeping. So I would probably aim for about a month. I would aim for trying to get through my loop in a month. So as you're sitting here and creating your loop, and this form actually has 2 pages. It has this planning page where you write your task and the frequency. And then it has another page where you actually finish off by typing up your entire loop. And then that page you can slip in a page protector and check it off as you move through the month. But you would ask yourself, how many times a month do I want to mop my kitchen floor? How many times a month do I want to sweep my kitchen floor? And it very well could be that sweep the kitchen floor goes on the top line, and you do that 4 times a month. You got to do that at least once a week. Maybe. Some of you do it every day. Mine's gone longer than that. We try to do it a little more frequently, but it has gone longer. Some of you are only going to mop that kitchen floor twice a month. Some of you are only going to mop it once a month. Put your frequency over there. How many times do you want to clean the toilets? How many times is it important for you to dust the furniture in the living room? How many times is it important for you to vacuum the living room rug or the bedrooms or sweep the floors? And so within a month, put your frequency there. And then you're going to use that second page and you're going to write out your list. Now, one of the great things about a loop schedule is you don't have to choose, well, am I going to work on a little bit each day or am I going to do one big cleaning session a week? Because with a loop schedule, that's totally flexible. If you've got 10 or 15 minutes to work on Monday, choose something from your loop. Maybe on Tuesday, you got 35 or 40 minutes. Maybe Wednesday, you got nothing. Even Thursday. Maybe Friday, you don't feel like doing anything. But Saturday morning, you can get up and work for an hour and a half. And you just keep working down that loop. And hopefully, by the end of the month, you've made it all the way through or just about all the way through the loop. It's also real easy to get the kids helping with this because you can just assign them something from that loop and check it off. So loop cleaning, this is one of the systems that you can create for yourself. Another thing you could do if you want to is you can make a master plan for the entire month. So, loop's kind of loosey-goosey. Maybe you need to commit to doing certain things on certain days. And so we've given you kind of this monthly calendar. Now, I would start this process by laying this next to my schedule for the month and begin by crossing off the days that you're not going to clean. So like Sundays maybe, vacation days if you're going on vacations, any days that you're out of the house for a long time. Some of us stay so busy that we leave the house in the morning and don't come back till late. We may not be getting any extra cleaning done that day, if we're on a field trip or something. So mark those off first. And then on the days that are left, I would look at my schedule, how much are you running around? How much are you home? And I would indicate if I have a short, medium, or long block of time to clean. And then fill in those blocks with tasks that will fit in the time slots. And then all you have to do is make sure that each week contains your non-negotiables and then add the extra things in there. And once you have this plan made, then commit to it. And if you can motivate yourself to get up and do the thing or things you've written down on each day of this calendar, then by the end of the month, you can count yourself successful and your house is going to be a little bit cleaner than what it does before. So that's just another option. We added a few more forms for you there to use with some of the other systems. We have a form that's kind of like the Motivated Moms. It's kind of a blank Motivated Moms form that you could fill in yourself. I also gave you a zone cleaning schedule. That's one of the options in there is to do zone cleaning. And so I gave you a couple of extra fillable forms that you could use with some of the ready-made cleaning systems. So step 1, choose a system. And Dawn's going to have a conversation thread about this in the Facebook group so we can talk about, what system might be best for you? Which one do you think you want to try? You can ask for feedback. Like I said, I have either tried or read extensively about some of these systems. I love the Slob Comes Clean book. I just think she's great. It doesn't really work for me. I'm a little beyond that point, but I loved reading the book and I read the entire book. I've got it here. So if we want to talk about that, the last system on the list, I haven't tried. It's what I aspire to. So, but the other ones in there I have done. So we can talk about those in the Facebook group. Okay. So once you have your system for the system is kind of for your weekly, monthly cleaning, whether that for you it's a weekly thing or a monthly thing, kind of Not the daily habits, not the big projects, but that middle of the road cleaning that we have to do to keep our floors from being sticky and to keep from having rings in our toilet and to keep from mold growing in our showers. That's the kind of cleaning that the system was for. Now we're going to talk a little bit about daily habits. Okay, so I have given you in your downloads a daily habit form. And there are 3 sections on the form for you to include things that you need to do throughout the day. You're going to need a couple of little morning habits, a few midday habits, and a few evening habits. And notice that I only give you 5 lines per section. And this is totally intentional. All right. So what kind of things should you include on the daily habit list? Well, it's up to you. But honestly, they should include things that take no more than 10 or 15 minutes to complete, and they don't require dragging out a ton of cleaning supplies to do it. All right, this should be a quick, get it done. The entire routine should probably take you about 20 minutes tops, maybe even closer to 10 or 15 minutes. All right, so here are some things that have either been on my habits routines in the past or are even currently on there right now. In my morning routine, I make my bed. Do this every single morning. It takes about 30 seconds for me to do. Other things that might go on the morning routine is to wipe bathroom sinks and counters and, give the toilets a little swish with just the toilet brush and to start a load of laundry. So I can do all of that in about 5-7 minutes before school starts. Midday routine. So for me, this is about lunch, but this could even go as late as 2 or 3 in the afternoon for some of you guys. Loading the dishwasher. A lot of times, after lunch and breakfast, I don't like to stop school necessarily to do it. But by the midday, right after lunch, I usually have enough time to go ahead and get that loaded up. Move the laundry, and then at the end of the school day, straighten any horizontal surfaces, and what it is with kids and pillows and blankets on the floor in the living room. So that's generally the time that I make them pick that stuff up and we straighten up those horizontal surfaces that kind of get cluttered before Dad gets home. And then finally, that before bed routine. So at my house, that includes doing the dishes from after dinner, folding the laundry. And a lot of times I end up folding the laundry as dinner's cooking or right before I make dinner. And then sweeping the kitchen. We don't do this every day. I wish we did. But at a lot of people's houses, I know that sweeping the kitchen is something that they do before they go to bed after they've done dinner. All right, so there is a good chance that you're already doing some of these things and you're doing them well. Don't pile on to your daily habits list. Now is not the time to decide that you need 5 or 6 new daily habits. But look at your priority list that you made earlier and see, based on that priority list, is there something you need to add here? And then I want you to commit to doing the daily habits that you put on your list, and be sure to report on how it's going on in our group check-ins. So this is the place where you might have to get up a few minutes earlier in the morning to make this happen. You might have to stay up a few minutes later in the evening to make it happen. But once again, 15, 20 minutes tops, closer to 10 or 15 is better on these habits. Okay. So that was step 2, and we're going to discuss that in the Facebook group as well this week. Step 3 is to hire help. Okay, so when I'm talking about hiring help here, I'm not really talking about help that you would pay for necessarily. I do have a couple of ideas for you, but for the most part, consider how you might enlist help in your housekeeping. So the kids really do need to be helping, especially with daily habits. And the older they are, the more they need to be helping. They should have their own little daily habits. And I totally get the frustration of little kids underfoot when you're trying to do a deeper cleaning, but make sure they're doing things like picking up their toys at the end of the day, doing the EHAP. Everything has its place. That's a Misty Winkler term. Making sure they're helping with some of that. And then as the kids get older, their jobs can get more involved and they can be even more helpful. But there are a few things that you have to remember about this. First of all, you have to train them in the proper way to do things. So if you tell a kid, clean your room or clean the toilet, this really isn't fair to them unless you teach them how to do it. And you aren't going to be happy with the results if you don't teach them how to do it. So at our house, we have had multiple lessons in toilet cleaning. Everything from how much cleanser, all the places we need to wipe with the brush, how to use the little disinfectant wipe and start from the top and then do the seat and then the back of the lid and then the rim and then where to put the wipe when you're done because it's not in the toilet, how to wash your hands afterwards. Okay? But if you spend some time doing this, like really breaking it down for them step by step, then you're going to end up with some good help one of these days. So they get overwhelmed, especially if you give them a big job like cleaning their room. Break it down for them and show them exactly how you want it done. Also, you have to inspect what you expect. If you aren't willing to go and see if they did a good job or not, they're probably not going to do a good job. They have to know that you're going to check up and make sure that they did a good job. And then finally, you are going to have to relax your expectations. No matter how many times you show that kid how to clean a toilet, there's a good chance he's not going to do it up to your level of ability or expectation. And you really can't hound them about this. You can have them go back occasionally if they've done a really poor job. But if they've worked to kind of the best of their ability, then it's probably a better thing to kind of do that chore for them every now and then. Not where they can see you do it, not right after they've done it, so they think, oh gosh, she doesn't ever think I do anything right. But, just take that chore for them, once a month or something and do the job to your level of expectation. But don't hound them about it. Okay, so I told you I had some other ideas for getting help. One thing you can do is consider paying a friend's teen to help you with the big weekly clean, or, maybe even once or twice a month. So this can be inexpensive, especially if you have just younger kids. You can get a 13 or 14-year-old to come and work alongside of you, and it's not horribly expensive, and they can help you get some cleaning done. You could also get them to watch the kids while you get the cleaning done. And that's another way that you could hire help. I know a couple of homeschool mamas have teens who come in and help every now and then. They pay them, a couple of dollars an hour for a 12 or 13-year-old. They get some good help. The teen gets some practice and makes a little bit of spending money. Another thing you could do is if you feel like you're really drowning, sometimes I feel like I just need to get back to zero. I'm just absolutely drowning. I need some help. Ask for cleaning for your birthday or for Christmas. It makes a great gift, and you're just going to feel so much less stress when you feel like you're back to zero and you can start from scratch. Another thing you could do is trade off big projects with a friend. So this works really well if you have a friend whose kids play well with yours because they're going to keep each other distracted. And, maybe you have one of those friends who's like organized and likes to organize things. She could come down and help you clean your closet or your pantry. And then the next week you can go to her house and maybe help do the windows on the inside and the outside, or clean the blinds. And the time is going to pass quicker because you're chatting while you work and your kids are playing. So I'm just, instead of just sitting around talking, get up and work on a little project together. So that's another thing you could do. Okay, so those were some ideas for quote unquote hiring help with your housekeeping. Let's move on to step 4, because some of you said you needed help with kind of the big weekly clean. So we covered that with systems. Some of you said you needed help with the daily things. And so we talked about that with our habits. The other thing that some of you needed help with were kind of these really big projects, like every baseboard in the house needs to be cleaned, or all the books need to be purged and the shelves dusted, or the master bedroom closet is just a mess. So you have these big projects that need to be done. This is kind of bigger, long range cleaning. And as much as we try, we can't create more hours in our month. So we're going to have to be strategic about getting these done, because a lot of times you probably feel like you can barely keep up with the weekly stuff. What you could probably do is find a couple of smaller blocks of time each month to work on these bigger projects. So we've made you a long range cleaning planning form. And basically the idea is that you go in and you choose one thing a month that you're going to write on this form. And sometime during that month, you make an attempt to either set aside 3 or 4 hours in one slot, or a couple of hours in 2 different slots. Or if you have the will to do this, maybe an hour a week, and do these bigger tasks. So what kind of things would we put in here? The seasonal clothing change out would go on this one for me in March and October. So that's something. March and October are always taken with changing out the clothes for the seasons. Deep cleaning the kitchen, things like the refrigerator, the pantry, the cabinets, deep dusting. Homeschool area deep cleaning and purging. Maybe you do that in January or July. Closet cleanouts, deep dusting and vacuuming, getting like those baseboards and the ceiling fans. Garage cleaning, blinds and windows. Many blinds just get so dusty. So put on there only what matters to you at the frequency it matters. Some of you may feel the need to clean that refrigerator 3 or 4 times a year. Others of you may be fine with cleaning it just twice. But be honest with yourself about what you can expect to get done. And really, there's only 12 months in a year. So choose one thing per month. Now, chances are, if you get that done, it's more than what you would have gotten done before. And if you happen to get that thing done and you have extra energy or extra time, then you can look around and find yourself something else to clean. But don't stress yourself out by putting too many things on this list. So go ahead and kind of fill this out. Look at what needs to be done at your house and put it there. And then try to schedule a few hours in the next month, maybe in one session or in multiple sessions to tackle whatever project it was that you chose. Hey, it's October. For me, it's going to be that seasonal closeout, of the clothes, the switch out of the clothes. So there you go. All right. If you have been following along step by step, you now have a plan that is going to work if you get working. And that is the most important part. So take a little time, come over to the Facebook group. Let's talk about these things, support each other, get all of this set up and ready to go, and hit the ground running. So on those Monday, Wednesday, Friday check-ins, we can chat back and forth with each other and encourage each other and hold each other accountable for getting that plan worked this month. And I want to see some great before and after pictures, and I want to see some happy mamas because they feel like they're getting a handle on something that was previously stressing them out. So if you have any questions, you can reach us in the Facebook group or info@pambarnhill.com. All the forms are on the page here for you. You can download those, and just know that we're here for you. Let us know if you need anything. So good luck with this one. We'll be cheering you on.